Topic 15 also has these tools, such as a trade-off analysis. What are we giving up so we gain something else? Or how do we figure out that point? So the trade-off analysis is very simple. As we approach 100% perfection, the cost of service required, or service improvements, rises more quickly. So you can see here, our total cost is going up with our inventory cost. But because our inventory cost is going up, the cost of lost sales is going down. So we have to determine what service is really important to the customer, and then reduce less important and reduce less. So it's important to save money to spend on what matters. So here, where do we figure this trade-off here? Well, where these lines intersect is the lowest point on our total cost, but at the point where our inventory cost equals our cost of lost sales. So we usually have a line that's right here with it going over here to our logistics cost. That's generally where we put it. Now, depending on your company, you might have a cycle service level of 95%, 99%, or just 90%. Whatever your company decides is going to determine this. So we need to look at that when we figure out our economic order quantities and our reorder points, because that's part of what's going to cause our logistics costs. So then we can also take a look at our product value. So if you think about it, as the value of our product goes up, related logistics costs for that product increase. So imagine we're shipping feathers that are going to be put into pillows. A pretty low dollar item, right? And so you're probably not going to put too much money into shipping that. But if you're shipping diamonds, you probably have a trail car with armed security, plus you probably have an alarm system on the trailer. You might even be sending it by that Garda or Brinks, the armored cars. So all these extra security things is what's going to drive up your cost for transportation. The logistics costs are going to increase because you're paying for that extra security in the case of diamonds. But for feathers, you don't need all that, so it's going to be pretty low. So that's why feathers might be somewhere down here. So packaging costs would probably be pretty cheap. Throw it in some plastic bags and put it in cardboard gaylords, pallet-sized cardboard boxes. So the transportation costs are going to be relatively low. So the inventory is going to be, the cost of that inventory is going to be low. But if we move it over to diamonds, we're going to pack those pretty good because we don't want anybody taking anything, right? So we might put those inside a safe. And that safe is probably made of steel or something, some material like that. That's going to be very difficult for someone to get into. But then the transportation costs are going to increase too because of our packing costs. And then that's going to create our inventory costs. So how do we find that trade-off? Well, sometimes it just comes down to that's what we need to ship the item. So we need to trade, that's an expense we need to absorb into the cost of the product. And depending on the product, it's well worth the money. And for some products, it's like, okay, well, do we really need this? Do you need an armed driver to transport feathers, goose feathers? Or do you want an armed driver for transporting diamonds? It's up to you. How do you feel it? You want to do it. So, well, when we look at our trade-offs, there's always, if we do this, what are we losing? In this case, transporting diamonds means we're losing money because we're spending money on that transportation. So think about this when you are considering shipping something yourself. Do you need to send it registered mail or, signature delivery, which will cost more, but exactly when it's getting there, who signed for it and all that. Is that security worth that extra money? So that's just one of many possible examples that are out there. But let's talk more about break bulk in our next section.